let's get this party started. Spring is a wonderful time. It's the time of baby birds and blossoming flowers and everything turning green and coming back to life. But it is also the time of hormones and molting. So if your bird is molting, make sure you check out my molting video. And if your bird is hormonal, then stay tuned because the hormones video is coming next. And Mia keeps asking me for scritches, and I constantly see her preening, and she's been showering and bathing more. And so, right? And it is the time of molting. So she's getting new pin feathers, and she's constantly asking for scritches in areas where she needs help, which is on her head and around her neck. So your bird is able to help themselves with their pin feathers all over their bodies, except for their head and neck. And that's usually where their birdie mates would help them out. But if they don't have birdie mates, then they're gonna need human moms and dads to help them out with those pin feathers. So I often get asked, how do I properly help my bird with their pins? Or how do I scritch my bird? So in today's video, I'm going to show you how I do it so that you can help your bird with scritches and make sure that you're not hurting them and helping them.
Oh, you're so cute. Oh, you're so cute.
Welcome back to the channel, my poodle and parrot pals. And if you're new here, welcome. If you're a dog or parrot lover, you've come to the perfect place. So let's start off from day one when you notice that there's new pins that look like straws. How are you going to scritch your bird? Well, you're not really going to scritch them. You're just going to kind of pet them very delicately on the top of their head and on their neck and around the areas where you can feel those pins, because those pins are not ready to be opened or scritched at this moment. And they're probably going to complain if you try to preen them when those pins are not ready. So make sure that you're always looking at your bird's behavior and body language when you are trying to help them with the preening on their head and neck, because they'll let you know when they don't like it and when they do like it. So if they don't like it, make these birdie dinosaur sounds at you. Not quite like that, but they'll like, maybe not quite like that either. But Mia, can you please demonstrate? But if your bird is enjoying what you're doing when you're helping them with those pin feathers, then they're going to look like this, in complete bliss with their eyes closed. Now, after a few days, if you start to notice that there are some pins that have a feather poking out, like this one, and they're long enough for your nails to reach delicately, you can very gently start to work on that pin feather, kind of like you're brushing the feather with the tip of your nail and your thumb is underneath for support. Now, this does help if you have a little bit of nails. If your nails are too long or too short, it's going to be more difficult. I find that with long nails, it's especially difficult to give proper scritches. So kind of shorter nails are the way to go. And you just want to make sure that you're always, when you're petting them on their head and neck, kind of giving them a massage, you're going in the direction that the feathers are growing. You don't want to go against those pin feathers. Like if Mia had a ton of pins right now, I wouldn't want to go this way. Because we've worked through all of those pin feathers, that's her asking for more scritches, then I can do this comfortably. But if there was pins, I would only go in this direction. I like to scritch in two different ways. So I like to be able to see the pin feathers by lifting those feathers up a bit and checking if they're ready. And then if I have good access to them, then I'll just, while I see them and have them on my thumb, I'll scritch them out. But another way that I like to do it is just hold Mia in my hand when she has some pin feathers under her neck. And that way I can feel with my fingers how far it goes. And it just gives me good control, especially when my nails are this length, to scritch those out. And she is just head back in complete bliss. Okay, so let's talk about some more scritch tips for these little cuties. She is so adorable. I could just smooch her up until the end of time. So our birds are gonna want scritches from us all year long, whether they're molting or not molting. When they're molting, we wanna wait for the right time and get those pins. And when we're doing it, it's gonna look like it's snowing just like it did there. But we're waiting for the right time with the pins, but it's also important to wait until your bird is comfortable and relaxed before you attempt to scritch them. They may also have a way to indicate to you that they need some scritches in the form of some cue, but you always want to avoid trying to scritch them if they're feeling agitated, stressed, or hungry. We also want to make sure that we're always focusing on safe areas when we're scritching our bird. So the head and neck, as I'm doing here, you want to avoid touching sensitive areas like their wings, tail feathers, or anywhere else on their body. You always want to use gentle and delicate pressure when you're scritching your bird and avoid pressing too hard on them or their pin feathers. You also, as I mentioned, want to observe your bird's body language, pay attention to how they're responding and to their reactions. If your bird seems uncomfortable or starts to squirm or screams, then stop the session. You want your bird to feel comfortable and you'll be able to see it on their face and their relaxed state. You don't need any fancy tools when you're scritching your bird, no brushes or anything of that sort, just your hands and your fingers. Those are all the tools that you need. And you also want to be really mindful of the molting process. During molting, your bird's skin may be more sensitive, so be careful not to scratch them and be really gentle, but also support their molting process with the right nutrition. Nutrition is so important. I talk about it all of the time, and that's why I've also created a parrot nutrition and meal plan guide just for you guys, so you can check that out in the description below. And you want to make sure that your bird is sleeping enough, that they're bathing, and they've got the right room temperature. And if you ever notice any areas that may be inflamed or irritated, you'll want to visit your avian vet. If you're ever unsure about something or you suspect that your conure has a health issue, it's always best to consult a vet who specializes in birds. And one last thing that I'm going to note today is baby birds, you don't want to ever scritch those pin feathers. They are covered in pins and we want to leave them alone. Right? Is that lovely?
That's lovely, Meow.
We hope that this video was helpful for you in scritching your birds. Don't forget to like this video, comment, and subscribe for a good vibe, and we'll see you guys in the next video.